back to Only Nerdy Gaming, the place where pixels, popcorn, and plot twists collide. I'm Ryan, and I'm very happy to have you back here. This is my first video in a while where I've gotten myself back on screen, so thank you for putting up with some of the faceless videos. I do enjoy those. They're quite fun to make, but I'm going to be doing some of these reaction videos from now until the time Superman launches or releases, specifically to react to some of the toxic crap that is going on out in the fandom on YouTube, specifically with Aaron Fisher and harsh critics, but even more so with harsh critics, because he is so negative and so toxic and so downright nasty with some of the stuff that he says. Just lots of content to create based off of that. So I want to debunk a lot of the crap that comes out of his mouth and set the record straight and let all of you think for yourselves and give you an honest take on Superman. So without further ado, let's get into this and see what wonderful insights Harsh Critics has to say about this most recent clip that came out of, let's see, I think a 30-second clip between Lois Lane and Guy Gardner.
Back with another video, July 11th, while it's closed, but let's just jump into this video. So, wasn't really going to do a video today, but I had to hop on it. You guys seen the clip. It's a new Superman clip, and everybody's talking about it. And I think I should talk about it. Why not? And it's pretty much this clip with Lois and Guy Gardner. And it's very cringe. I mean, a lot of people is roasting this. They saying, how can this happen? What is James Gunn thinking? But James Gunn is just being James Gunn. This is pretty much the tone of the movie. And I can guarantee you, you're gonna see more clips. You're gonna see more clips before this movie is released. And that will tell you everything you need to know that they're not confident. This is what WB usually does when they're not confident in a film. You've seen this with Joker. You've seen this in a lot of films. You actually seen this in Batman vs. Superman.
Okay. So first off, let's pause it right there. So the idea that Warner Brothers dumps clips because they're scared, that is not how marketing works. Studios always drop promotional clips to build buzz. With that mentality, that means that any movie that drops a trailer is terrified that their movie is gonna bomb. So they gotta get a trailer out there. Anybody who's ever watched any TV, any YouTube videos, any amount of time on watching media, period, knows that when a movie is about to come out, they ramp up the marketing and you see TV spots. That's what they're called, TV spots. They're not studios panicking spots. It's let's get the word out there and keep this movie in people's minds to let them know, hey, this movie's coming out. It's not because they're scared and terrified, so they need to pump more out. If anything, you'd think that if a studio was terrified that their product is going to be crap or garbage, they would withhold that and not show clips, not show extended previews. You see this a lot with video games. If a video game's not doing well or they're worried about it, there's probably going to be review embargoes, and they're not going to let the game be reviewed until the last minute. And you're not going to see much from the studio. So that claim is absolutely asinine.
You've seen this with Joker. You've seen this in a lot of films. You actually seen this in Batman vs. Superman. But at least Batman vs. Superman made money. Despite what anybody tell you, Batman vs. Superman made a profit. Man of Steel made a profit. So
we'll talk about that.
This is tacky. No. But like I said, there's a mediocre audience for mediocre taste. And it may work. And if it works, to me, that tells me society just don't care about quality. Okay. They accept whatever crumbs these studios give them. And that's where I come in. I'm telling you guys to keep your wallets closed to get back at the studio, because at the end of the day,
get back at them.
They're in the weakest position. They need for this movie to make a hit.
They do.
This movie almost cost $400 million, and it's been debunked and confirmed that the budget is 300 plus million. Despite what any of these clowns say on YouTube saying, oh, you can't trust government official tax forms, it's been confirmed by the Hollywood Reporter. So this should tell you everything you need to know, and it just makes the situation worse. For a film to cost this much money, why the fuck does it look so bad? How?
Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. A couple things to talk about really quick. First off, we're gonna talk about the budget. So the budget was big. Yes, the budget was around 300 million, not 400 million, and the look is deliberate. This is a Silver Age inspired Superman, and it's supposed to feel vibrant and idealistic. And so, regarding the 300 million, a Hollywood Reporter confirmed the budget, that it was around $300 million. Man, it's just, I can't believe what this guy complains about and what he spews. All right, let's keep going.
The situation worse. For a film to cost this much money, why the fuck does it look so bad? How come Zack Snyder's movies and, you know, the Aquaman movies and, you know, the James Wan's and all those movies, why do they look so good? Why do they look so cinematic? Versus this crap that looks bright. This looks like a TV show.
You know what else looks like a TV show? The Mandalorian. And The Mandalorian won an Emmy. James Gunn is taking a cleaner, grounded visual approach. Not everything needs the Zack Snyder gray filter. I don't understand why everybody thinks that the movie should just be grayscale saturated. It just doesn't make sense. You know, it's another interesting thing. Gunn actually stated that he took inspiration from Japanese hits like Ultraman and Godzilla -1 to create a very human story. And I'm sorry, but to take Godzilla -1 as an inspiration, that should set a lot of people's minds at ease, because that was a fantastic movie.
This looks like a corny TV show, and this is what you're pretty much getting with James Gunn. You're
We're gonna get a TV show.
accepting slop. You're accepting mediocrity. You're telling DC Studios this is okay for you.
So we've seen maybe a total of 5 minutes of footage from this movie. 5 minutes. Because a lot of the footage, even from the teaser trailer to the extended trailer to the 5-minute sneak peek, a lot of the footage was just recycled. And I'm sorry, but how do you know that a movie is going to be trash, garbage, or look like, or, you know, be filled with slop if you haven't even seen the movie? This guy is totally basing everything off of a very small piece of the bigger puzzle. And I don't even need to really divulge in or go very deep into where his thought process is. He's already so hell-bent on hating anything that's not Zack Snyder that it doesn't matter if this movie ends up being the greatest thing since the 10 Commandments or The Godfather. He's still going to find something to hate about it. That's just the way it is. But to tell people and convey his opinions as absolute fact when he hasn't seen hardly anything is just mind-boggling. It's ridiculous.
You're accepting mediocrity. You're telling DC Studios this is okay for you to eat up. And I'm telling you guys to close your wallets, get back at the studio so you can get what you want. Because deep down, y'all don't want this. You want Zack Snyder's Justice League story finished. So keep your wallets closed, because this is unacceptable. But I get it. Some of y'all are mediocre, and most people in society are mediocre. That's just the reality. But I think this sucks. I think this looks cheap and corny. And I'm like, where did the money go? 400 million? Where did the money go? You want to know where it went? It went to James Gunn's buddies, because this is what it is. This is a film with James Gunn friends. Superman and James Gunn friends.
Oh my God. Okay. Nathan Fillion, Eddie Gathegi, Isabella Merced. These are all legitimate talents. If a director trusts actors they've worked with before, that's good creative chemistry, not nepotism. Oh my God. See, this guy will create anything, will say anything to try to be divisive.
This is a film with James Gunn friends. Superman and James Gunn friends. That's what it is. So, you guys got to make your voices heard. No Snyderverse, no money. We don't support DC Studios ever in none of their projects until Zack Snyder returns. That's just the reality. And if he's not going to return, then guess what? They're going to have to sell an IP to somebody else. But keep in mind, Zack Snyder never said he didn't want to finish his Justice League.
Okay, let's talk about this Snyder thing really quick. We got to be honest. Warner Brothers already gave the Snyderverse its chance. So let's look at the record. Man of Steel had a 55% Rotten Tomato score. Box office, $668 million. Moderate hit. Batman vs. Superman, 44% Rotten Tomato score. Made $873 million. It had a huge drop-off. Okay, and those drop-offs are big. Justice League, the theatrical release, 39% Rotten Tomato score, $661 million in the box office, estimated $60 million loss. Zack's cut had passionate fans, for sure, but it wasn't a franchise plan. WB pivoted because the returns didn't justify the cost. Yeah. All right, let's get back into it.
To somebody else. But keep in mind, Zack Snyder never said he didn't want to finish his Justice League story. It's only these clowns on YouTube. You know who they are. John Scampia, Julie's Corner, Robert Burnett, Real Rejects.
Love those guys.
That's coming from them. Zack never said he wanted to finish his story. He wants to finish his story. He just wants to have control of the IP. And we need to make that happen. The Zaloff is already under fire with these shareholders, so they're listening. And WB is panicking. And you guys, don't you see the movement is working? They're scared. They scared that this movie's gonna flop. I mean,
I want to go back to Zack Snyder one more time. I made a mistake earlier in the video in a side-eyed commentary. Man of Steel did overperform. It had a budget of about $225 million, and it grossed $670 million worldwide. It overperformed. It was Justice League. I'd call it the Frankenstein film, the Joss Whedon mishmash. $661 million gross worldwide on a $300 million budget. Reported $60 million loss. So it wasn't Man of Steel that had a loss. It was Justice League. Man of Steel overperformed, did quite well considering the poor critical reception. But because of that, think about it this way. The DCU ended up pivoting, or the DCEU, ended up pivoting to standalone stories post-Snyder due to deteriorating cohesion, critical failure, and financial underperformance. So this guy who just, harsh critics, keeps going on and on and on about, we got to bring Snyder back. I would like to see the Zack Snyder Justice League trilogy films finished as well. I'd love to see those stories finished. But I am pretty happy that we are out of that DCEU phase. Black Adam was horrible. The Shazam sequel was trash. Aquaman 2 was blah. The Flash was blah. I mean, here he's talking about seeing 5 minutes of Superman and how it's slop and garbage, and we've already seen proof that there was a lot of trash and garbage out there already.
They brought in another composer, another editor. They took 30 minutes out the movie, 20 something or 30 minutes out the movie. They're scared.
Okay, all right. James Gunn already debunked this himself. Editing films happens in every film. A final runtime of 129 minutes is solid for a new movie. James Gunn specifically said on his X post, no scenes were cut for runtime reasons. This is my final cut. And even if Warner Brothers wanted James Gunn to cut time out of his movie, they couldn't. It is a DC Studios film, not a Warner Brothers Zaslav film. James Gunn and Safran have the final say, not Warner Brothers. Again, more manipulation to try to build this fear and oogie boogie, oh, Warner Brothers is scared. It's just a bunch of nonsense. It's a bunch of crap. It's a bunch of slop, if you want to go back to what he was saying.
Because they know this movement is serious. And on July 11th, we're going to make history.
Oh, yeah.
And all you got to do is just keep your wallets closed and stay home. But for you genuine Superman fans, I hope it works out for you. But now I'm hearing...
So wait a minute. So he wants the Snyder fans who wants to see the DC universe fail, he wants them to stay home. But if you're a genuine Superman film, he hopes it works out for you. Well, what if you're a genuine Superman fan and you're a Snyder fan? Well, then I guess you're screwed.
You genuine Superman fans, I hope it works out for you. But now I'm hearing, our movie news and Mitch from Movies Mad TV, they're disappointed in this clip. Because now they know they're getting a slop sandwich. They know they're getting shit from James Gunn. And this is pretty much what it is.
From a 30-second clip, they know they're getting
all these characters
slop
look like shit compared to what we had and what we could.
Compared to what we had. Oh my goodness. Again, look at everything that came out after the shit show. I'm going to use his language. That was Justice League. Everything after that lost cohesion. Wonder Woman 1984 was horrible. Shazam 2 was horrible. Black Adam was utterly disgusting, and the fact that what they did to Henry Cavill was horrible. The Flash was horrible. We want to go back to that? You want to go back to that? Okay.
Pretty much what it is. All these characters looks like shit compared to what we had and what we could have. So if you want Zack Snyder's Justice League story finished, let the studio know that you are the consumer and that they work for us. We don't work for them. James Gunn is finished. He's finished, and I think he knows he's finished.
He's finished, y'all. James Gunn is finished. Warner Brothers literally handed him the keys to the whole DC universe. He's writing and directing and planning the next 10 years of DC films. But he's finished. Oh. Oops.
Our movie news and Mitch from Movies. So if you want Zack Snyder's Justice League story finished, let the studio know that you are the consumer and that they work for us. We don't work for them. James Gunn is finished. He's finished, and I think he knows he's finished. And July 11th, we're giving him the pink slip. So I just wanted to rant about this clip. It doesn't surprise me. Like, is corny, jokey, wacky. Even the behind the scenes footage is jokey, wacky. It looks like James Gunn wasn't taking this movie serious. He was just there to enrich his buddies and his wife to get a paycheck. That's it. But what do you guys think? I think this shit sucks. I think this movie, it's not looking good.
No, not looking good. Looking horrible.
I don't think you guys gonna even get another trailer. You're probably just gonna get a lot of little clips here and there, and that's it. You only got a month left, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. That's it. But what do you guys think? Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And remember, no Snyderverse, no money, wallets closed. Peace.
Peace. All right. So for those of you who maybe haven't seen his videos before, I'm going to be shedding some light on a lot more. This was just the tip of the iceberg compared to how he actually treats the cast members that he talks about, and the vitriol that is just oozing. So anyways, final thought on this. This movie isn't a threat to fans. It's a fresh start. And the data doesn't lie. The Snyderverse did not work long term. Fresh start, fresh slate. It's what the DC brand needed. Thank you for joining me on this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you'd like me to talk about next. If you have a suggestion on one of Harsh Critic's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful video catalog or backlog of catalogs that you want me to react to, let me know. All right. Until next time, stay nerdy.